Hit the go live.
We're live.
We're live. Okay, welcome to FTB Sport. It is the transfer show second night. So, and boy, what a day we've had. I was thinking, you know, when Carrie looked across that room and looked at Boris Johnson and thought, I want to have a baby with you, 32 years old. I wonder if it was a similar decision making in Florentino Perez's eyes. You know, he's the chairman, owner of Real Madrid, and he goes, who do we fancy as manager? Maybe we'll pick a manager who conceded 5 goals to Man City in the last game of the season with some bloke who's now at Barcelona scoring 2. Or maybe we'll appoint a manager who finished lower than Leeds. Or maybe even a manager who thought he could build a team around James Rodriguez. Real talent. But can you possibly believe that Florentino Perez was wise enough to appoint a manager who finished below Arsenal? I mean, that is wisdom, isn't it? So that's the biggest news. Carlo Ancelotti heading to Real Madrid, a manager worse than Mikel Arteta. Good luck. So, Brezzy, after I've totally insulted your team there, what's your thoughts? Is it a good appointment? What on earth's going to happen at Everton?
If I'm honest, I was actually totally shocked because I actually thought because Allegri was been in contact with Barcelona or Real Madrid since like 3 months, and it was almost pretty much guaranteed that he was going to be going to Spain. But for them to get Ancelotti, he's a great manager, and he's got a great pedigree underneath him. I thought he was doing a good product at Everton. Obviously he had a very good first campaign. Obviously it slipped to the end of the season where obviously he dropped down with a few injuries and everything else. But it's a great appointment for them. I mean, they've got the budget. The only problem is how much financial he's going to get with behind it, because obviously they're in a lot of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, it's going to be a stunning stadium, but I think it's still another season off being finished. So his first season is going to be at the equivalent of that training ground. If he survives the year, he'll have a very beautiful manager's office versus the one at Everton. That's what I was thinking. But I suppose they review it as a safe pair of hands. But also I was thinking, back to the future, the return of Ancelotti to Madrid, will it be the return of Pochettino to Spurs? Do managers have success second time around? It didn't go so well for Jose at Chelsea second time out. I don't know.
I can't see Poch going back to Spurs, if I'm honest. I know that everyone's saying, "Oh, he's a Spurs man and everything else," but he's manager of PSG. He's got the talent. He's got Mbappe, Neymar. Why would you go to back to Spurs for? No disrespect to obviously Spurs, because obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, but your ambition is always to go to one of the big European clubs. Now you've gone from Spurs to PSG, where you've got a chance of competing in Europe. You've got to compete, domestically. Yes, they didn't win the French league, but he came in through half a season. So you have a summer to then obviously readapt, go again in September. I could probably see more Conte going to Spurs, because that's their kind of. I think he'd be good. I think he actually would be a good fit. The reason why is because that obviously he can get the best out of not great players, and he's done that at Inter. He won the league, and he had half of Man United's reserve teams, as in Ashley Young.
Smalling's at Roma, isn't he? Yeah,
Smalling. Yeah, Sanchez. He won the league through them. So for him to go to Spurs and have like Harry Kane, Son, Moura, people like that, that's going to be more his kind of style. So I would expect more Conte to Spurs, Poch will stay at PSG.
It's interesting. If I was Everton, they could rock the boat and go for Rafa Benitez. I know he was Liverpool manager, but that's the sort of club Rafa would want to go in at. And he's got a house around there. I think his family's from that part of the town. I think he'd be an interesting one. you may be right. I thought I saw PSG saying that they were going to take the option clause on Pochettino and extend for another year, which will mean that the buyout will be even greater for Spurs. So maybe that rocks the boat. So that was the big.
Already come out and said that they're happy with Poch anyway, and then that they don't have any intentions to let him go back to Spurs anyway.
It's bizarre in that we're talking more about managers at this stage than players. You know, I mean that was a blockbuster of a move today. You wonder what's coming tomorrow. I know Wolves have got their eye on, I think, the ex-Benfica manager, but he doesn't fit the criteria of being allowed to manage in the Premier League. I think that's a post-Brexit thing. I'm not sure, but again, you know, they said there's been 3 days of negotiation from Nuno, the ex-Wolves manager, for Crystal Palace. You know, he's going to have to dig deep into his experience there to do it on not much budget. So after 3 days, will Everton snap him up? That could be interesting. Would Spurs, if they don't get Poch, go for Nuno? There's so many combinations and permutations still to come. You know, I hope from my love on the side, my girl on the side, Palace, I hope I have to have a punt from the lad from Swansea. I mean, I'm certain he's going to be a great manager one day, but someone who's not tried and tested in the Premier League, I feel nervous. You know, a Dyche or a Rafa in my dreams, or a Nuno would be right there, but we'll see.
You could even get a Eddie Howe. I mean, he's not obviously used to a big budget. He's obviously
I'm not sure. It's a bit lightweight for me. He's just. I know he likes playing nice football and all that. I don't know. It flatters to see for me. I'm not a massive Eddie Howe fan. I'm not sure how much grit and depth he's got when he has absolutely no money. Because he did have a bit at Bournemouth, didn't he?
Yeah, not that much.
With some quite talented and experienced players. But I mean, the only other
Saha, ease.
Yeah.
They're quality players.
Saha won't be there next season. And with Eze injured up till Christmas at least, you know, and about 8 players out of contract at Palace, they're a bit naked in a field, in the old expression.
Yeah, it'd be good for a rebuild.
The only other done deal today was actually a player, Garcia, going to Barcelona. He was originally a Barcelona youth player, and you see him as a kid in the shirt and everything. So, you know, kind of fair, and it's one of those hiccups you're going to run. When my mate Rossa was on talking about Real Madrid and the Champions League final, she talks about the fact that even though Real Madrid didn't have any players in the Spanish squad, there was a lot of ex-Real Madrid guys like Garcia who'd had to move to other clubs to build their experience, who'd ended up in the Spanish team. So I guess, you know, the bigger clubs always risk losing a player like that for nothing. Personally, I think he's a bit small, a bit aggressive, and possibly doesn't read the game well enough. But he is very young. He could develop, could change, and he could prove me wrong. I'm not 100% convincing Garcia. You know, he's not commanding enough for me. But we'll see if he develops. But that's. Yeah, Barcelona could end up with Garcia on a free. They've got Aguero already on the free. They want Wijnaldum from Liverpool on a free, and they're also looking for Memphis Depay. So 4 players that they're looking for from a free. But it will be kind of funny if Coutinho goes back to Liverpool for the few million change that they haven't managed to cough up. That would be ridiculous, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be quite ironic.
I think the other transfer that's very close to the line is that Tomori going from Chelsea to AC St Milan for 28 million, which I said last night puts even more money in the Chelsea coffers. Abramovich is a pretty rich dude anyway, but, you know, their coffers, you know, you can't really criticise Chelsea for what they've spent because of the crazy amount of money they got for Hazard. You know, they've invested, it looks like quite well. But I think the other bit is, and I'd be interested in your comments on this, there looks to be a lot of swap shopping going on. There looks as though with COVID and the lack of pure hard cash, there could be a lot more player swaps.
Yeah. I think obviously with the season that we've had, well, we've been playing every 3 days with the Europe, the domestic cups. I don't think the teams have the funding that, you know, what we would say in the summer, where, you know, Real Madrid and Barcelona's will go out and your cities will go out and spend, you know, stupid amount of money. I think obviously it's, especially with Arsenal, it's going to be, you know, freebies or loan deals, because we have zero funding from obviously Conky. I think they will give us like 50 million plus. We've got no funding from home revenue, things like that. I can just see it all being loans or player swaps with a small amount of cash here and there. Like there's a report for Guendouzi going to Marseille for like 25 million.
Yeah. Couple of comments from Mr. Silver Fox here. He said Matteo Guendouzi to Marseille is very close. So that could be on tomorrow's show. We could be reporting on that, and we could be talking about that 28 mil that Chelsea will have put into their coffers. Quick one, Mr. Silver Fox also reckons Nuno to Everton I can see happening. I can see that happening too. He has that good bit of experience. I could see that happening. The other thing interesting, my pal Rosa Fernandez Carnero, who lives in the Canaries. Madrid is her team. She knows them inside out, back to front. She reckons that Madrid gave up on Pochettino as managers to be in the good relations with PSG and not damage Mbappe transfer. Interesting, because that has always seemed like a bit of a done deal, Mbappe to Real Madrid.
I can't see it happening.
I know Rosso also had a view that Barcelona only signed Aguero to keep Messi happy, which maybe. But maybe these things are happening at the moment. You know, you wouldn't want to lose Messi on a free. At the same time, you get that pillock, Sergio Ramos, who, you know, last time he was contracted up, I'm going to United, only to try and. I mean, why do Real Madrid put up with this guy? You know, when the going gets tough, he just flaunts other clubs in their face, and now he's doing the I'm going to Man City bit just because he wants a couple of years from Real Madrid after. Disgusting.
Yeah, but payday. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know, but he does it so blatant and disgusting. It's about as subtle as his tackles on the pitch. You know, he just plays, I guess, clumsy. But there you go. But I think they're the ones that are in the mix. Aurelia, Spurs wants out. Mentions PSG. Well, in your dreams, mate. I think I can't see Aurelia being good enough for PSG myself. I think he'd struggle in the Palace team. But there you go. Hazard, Ramsey, and Bale say they're all staying put. There you go, Rossa. You'll be happy that Mr. Bale says that he's going to stay put. Well, he'll take his money. You'll have to probably buy. What else? Rafinha looks maybe a Leeds exit. Buendia, your team. Now, here's your view, Brezzy. Buendia from Norwich to Arsenal. Would you like that?
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. If we can get it, if we can get that done, if we can get Buendia. If we can get the guy from Ajax, I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try to pronounce his name.
Where's he play?
Ajax right back.
Tagliafico. Sounds like Tagliatelle, doesn't it?
No, it's the other guy. Tagliafico's on the left.
Oh, right, sorry.
It's the Moroccan guy. He's got he left about 15 million or something like that. I think if we get him, which is a decent right back, we get Basuma. We get
Real good.
Yeah. If we get them, that's pretty much our right back and centre mid sorted out. The only thing we need to do now is obviously because Laka's 30, Bamang's 31. I can see Eddie leaving. I could probably see us getting either Edouard from Celtic. I think he'll be a good shout. The wings sorted out with Saka and Pepe.
Do you think Mahrez is tosh?
I can't see us getting Mahrez, and this whole room about Mahrez and Sterling. No chance are we ever going to be coming back, and getting them kind of players. Like we don't get the funding for that. Maybe we sell half of our first team, probably, but no. We're not City. We're not United.
Here's your opportunity. I know you weren't happy with my thoughts about Sancho going to. It looks like United have done at least agreed personal terms, and they're chasing him harder. When the was to Chelsea. I couldn't see it because Chelsea have got so much talent down that right-hand side already. Why would they need him?
No, Chelsea don't need Sancho. If anyone that needs Sancho, is probably going to be Arsenal, if I'm honest, because we need that kind of experienced talisman. But I think
Pepe in his position.
No, I want him on the left. Obviously, got to have Pepe and Sancho, and obviously give Saka a break. He's 19 years old. He's playing every game. Now he's going to the Euros. The guy's burnt out of anything. But
yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm not proud of Pep in every decision he's ever made, but the way he's brought Phil Foden on has been very credible. He could have burnt him out. You're right. What else we got?
But I do think he will go.
And Ross, hang on. She said Bale must come back to Madrid soon. He's greatly missed at the golf club. Yeah. He reckons Mr. Silver Fox reckons Celtic striker Eduardo will not end up at Arsenal, but will end up at Leicester. Mm-hmm.
Possibly, but the thing is, it will be a backup because they've got what's his name? Oh God, I forgot his name now. But he's the one that comes on, replaces Vardy.
You've got Vardy and Iheanacho.
That's it, Iheanacho. Yeah. So if you went to Leicester, he'll just be back up to Iheanacho because
one thing I thought in the cup final. Now, to be fair, Reece James has had every play in his pocket. He's an outstanding right back. If Walker wasn't so quick going forward and better at crossing, I'd say Reece James was number one full right back. And God, we've got a lot of talent to pick from. The other show will be having a laugh on that. But boy, that lad's talent. But I just thought Vardy looked like he was coming towards the end of days. His skill is to play on the shoulder, that burst of pace. And at 35, I'm not certain will that happen. Ross is saying, and Hazard has promised to get back into shape if he's given another chance. I'm not sure what sort of shape he aims for. It's a kind of rotund sort of shape, isn't it? But
yeah, I mean, he's not the same player as he was at Chelsea.
No, but it's. I will probably get all the old Liverpool fans giving me some big shit from that. But sometimes he does remind me of a little bit of a poor man's Kenny Dalglish. The way he holds the ball, he's that big bum on him. He holds the ball up well on Hazard. He gets crashed into a lot. I just think he's a very, very gifted player. And when he was at Chelsea, I thought he was outstanding. He does hold the ball so well and manages the situation. It's so difficult to bring down. But the injuries have wrecked him at Real Madrid. Mr. Silver Fox agrees with me on Vardy. Yeah, I think it's sad because you've got to love the lad. You've got to love him. But at 35 and his game is all on pace, Leicester do have to plan for the future. So that might not be a bad shout. Eric Garcia's £343 million buyout clause. Well, it's a casino shot. The lad's 20. He's only played a handful of games. Brahim Diaz. Real Madrid stole him from Man City for £18 million. He was the great hope. Well, where is he now? Just a thought. They put a big buyout clause.
But some of the moves don't always pan out that way, though. Everyone thought when Hazard went to Real Madrid, thinking you're going to get the best number 9, and then he's been riddled with injuries for almost a season. He spent half of it on the bench.
Yeah, and to be fair, the previous season Coutinho at Liverpool, and when you look at some of those goals, I can't remember. I was watching something online which was showing goals of the season from the season Coutinho was at Liverpool, and he scored screamer after screamer, and I don't know. So it's an interesting one. What else we got? That swap shop. I wonder what will happen for Kane. There was some word that they might want to swap Gabriel Jesus and Nathan Ake, or Gabriel Jesus and Sterling.
Yeah,
City. I'm not certain that's a bad shout. Sterling had a tough season, but he's still really good. At 26, Daniel Levy will look at his, with his pound signs in his eyes and think, well, that's 40. He's worth 40. And Gabriel Jesus is still young at 22 or 23-ish. And, he's he's not a prolific goal scorer, but boy, the guy works hard. He really does. And again, he'll look at that and go, well, yeah, you could say that's 40, 50. So that's not a million miles away from Harry Kane's price tag. So he might say, okay, give us those two and 20 mil and you can have Harry Kane. And Spurs will have done quite well out of that. I also think, okay, Nathan Ake's had his injuries, but he was everything of a £40 million defender who can play off both feet. So Spurs need a central defender. You're not having Laporte. I want Laporte to stay at City. I really do.
I can't see him going anywhere, if I'm honest. Laporte.
But Nathan Ake, I feel for him, to find himself behind not just Stones and Diaz, but Laporte as well. I would say I reckon he could go to Spurs. I mean, God, he's got to be at least better than Eric Dyer, for goodness sake. Nathan Ake, I think he would do all right at Spurs. And Sterling might refine himself at Spurs with, he's still got that incredible pace and running at players.
I can't see Sterling going to Spurs. I cannot see Sterling going to Spurs.
I'm trying to think, wasn't he from London originally? I've got a feeling he was South London or something before he went to Liverpool. I'm pretty convinced he was a South London boy who went to Liverpool. He started in Jamaica. His mum worked really hard and brought him up to South London, I think. And then he went to Liverpool, then he went to City. So there might be something in that.
He wants titles, and obviously, whereas with City, he's been in Champions Leagues, he's won the Premier League, he's been into Champions League finals. Why would he go to Spurs for? Who, if they get into finals, they bottle it. They go into the top four, they bottle it. So, there's no point.
But he might think, I've won a lot already at City. I want to play every week. And if he went to Spurs, he would play every week. Whereas City, he probably looks at next season and thinks to himself, I might not play half the games.
Yeah, but that's testament to Phil Foden, though. If he can...
Hello, 7. Errol, you are absolutely right. Mr. Brainbox. Knowledge is the bomb. And yes, Raheem Sterling did start QPR. Somehow deep in my knowledge, I knew that. But obviously, the young, sharp brain of Errol is on the ball tonight. So QPR, London, London guys, maybe. Who's to say that wouldn't happen?
In maybe 10 years' time, possibly. I can't see it happening anytime soon. He's at the height of his career. If anything, he'll go.
There's still a decent sized club, and you get to play every week in an outstanding stadium. That would be a consideration,
No, I understand that point of view, but the thing I'm saying is he's going to be wanting to be in Champions Leagues. He's going to be wanting to go, obviously, fight for the top. I cannot see him going to QPR.
So, Errol is what was it now? I've got to go to this one. I thought about this. That's a bad boy comment. That Steven Gerrard's going to connect to Everton. Could you imagine that? I mean, Rafa Benitez going there would be quite bad. Could you imagine if Everton? Now Gerrard wouldn't do it. He just wouldn't do it. He would not.
That'd be right.
What didn't he have some dodgy connections to the Liverpool mafia a while back, Steven Gerrard? Isn't there feet in concrete off, dropped into the Mersey job around there? I think he'd be in big trouble with the underworld of Liverpool if he went back to Everton. Never more than anything else. No. What do you think, Brezzy? That's a no chance, I think.
Oh yeah, no, I can't see that happening at all.
This is interesting. With Sterling and Mahrez gone, which they could cash in, and Ferran Torres is going to have a big season next season, could be interesting. If they bought a Haaland or a Kane, could he be the Son alongside?
I see Man City going for Haaland, if I'm honest, because that's the better option. He's younger, he's more talented. He'll have a bigger contract. He'll have loads more years. That's a bigger investment, if I'm honest. I can't see it being Kane. If it's between Haaland and Kane, Haaland every day.
Yeah, Pep doesn't like opinions. He likes young players he can mould who will do as they're told. Yeah, if there's a slight bit of attitude, I think there was always an edge between Aguero, who would have been about 27, 28-ish when Guardiola came in. And, you know, he has a mind of his own, etc. Now, he changed his whole game when Pep came and really worked hard, tracking back, etc., etc. But I believe he wasn't exactly a workaholic in training. So I think there was maybe still a bit of a gap between Pep and Sergio Aguero, even though I hate to say it, I love both of them. But you're right, Haaland would come and do exactly what Pep says, and he would kill himself in training, which is what Pep wants him to do. So yeah, be interesting. Any other thoughts? Yeah, that one. So I think that's about it. Swap shops. Toad Ramos playing Man City, Sancho to United, probably right. I did say last night if that happened, then maybe Daniel James will get a game in one of the lower Premier League clubs every week, because I think he's a talented young lad. That, you know, as we'll see in the Euros when he plays for Wales, he'd be a good bet for Palace, I think, on that right-hand side. I've always wanted Andros Townsend to play a bit further inside. He's not quite quick enough to the right, but he's got a wonderful football brain, but he's out of contract, so he could go somewhere else. So, you know, Daniel James could get a game every week at a club like Palace or Norwich or, you know, maybe even West Ham. A middle to lower club, and that would be nice to see. What about Danny Boy? You know, the one United signed and have never played.
Van der Beek.
Van der Beek. What's going to happen to him?
I don't know. I mean, what was the point in that signing? I mean, every time United Agenda is on, I literally sit there and I comment going, why did you sign Van der Beek for? Because you do not play him. You play Fred instead of Van der Beek. He's a bench warmer and he's in the prime. He's young. He's 22. Play the guy.
He's got collateral in Europe. There's a lot of European teams will still rate him. So he could have worth in a swap shop. You know, if United went out there for Sancho, for example, you know, and if they're looking for 80, 90, if they threw him into the mix, they might get him for 50.
Yeah.
So there could be some, like the Bitcoin.
I think Van der Beek should go if he can get a move out of Madrid, it would be the best thing for him, because I cannot see him getting into that midfield with Fernandes and obviously Pogba. I just can't see it. Anyway,
it's 8:28. We did promise we'd finish with 2 minutes before halftime. One last comment. Nuno to Paris by Gemma. I really hope that's the case. You know, Nuno at Palace, I think would be, you know, we'd be punching at Palace above our weight. I think that would be a lovely one. And on that thought, I mean, where are we at? We're Wednesday tomorrow. Goodness knows. You know, we know if I said to you yesterday, Carlo Ancelotti will be going to Real Madrid, you'd have gone, keep taking the pills, Ian. You know,
it's a funny summer. That's what it's going to be. It's a funny summer.
All right, 8 o'clock tomorrow. Join me if you get a chance. We'll continue this conversation and see what wild and wonderful.
Yeah, I finish work at 6, so I should be able to.
Great, the Gossip Boys. See ya. Bye.
Bye.
By the way, everybody, like us. Share us. If you like this show, pass it on to the world.
And subscribe.
For the Gossip Boys. Gossip Boys rather than Gossip Girls. Yeah? Cool.
Yep.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.